Welcome to Nentalk, this is Jake, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Advance Wars. With Tiny Metal just releasing in December and with Tiny Groove on the way, the question is can Nintendo bring back Advance Wars? I think they can. I mean, yeah, there's LR2 games on the system that are going to be like it, but that doesn't stop a bunch of RPGs from being on the system and being overridden with it. So like, I think for this genre, turn-based strategy, like you can have up to 3, maybe even 4 different types of games on there for people that are interested in that genre. Now, what I'm going to be doing is it's going to be looking at what can they do to really make it different from the others. And even as of now, like, their older games are completely different. And one thing that they could do is re-release the ones that were on the Famicom on a collection along with the Game Boy Advance and the DS ones, and just have all of them on one collection and release that for the fans. And if that does well, then create a new one. Now with a new one, they could add new abilities, new units, and map elements. And I'm going to go over some of my ideas of what they could do to really change things up. I mean, for new units, or new abilities per se, mech troops being able to lay down landmines and have it only happen once during combat. So like, not only are they going to have their rockets, but they're going to also be able to lay down mines to where if the enemy troops go over them, then it does damage. Now, to really combat that and to have it even out, you can have engineers who really have no combat, but they're able to spot mines and disable them. And now engineers can also have the ability to build bridges over rivers, so that would give troops another way to go around or advance per se. I mean, not only can they do that, but have them have the ability to repair vehicles, resupply, and also be able to build roads so vehicles can advance farther and faster. And I think that would add a lot more strategy and managing. Like, it doesn't have, like, how buildings are captured during 2 turns, the engineers can take like 2 or 3 turns building these bridges or these roads. That would also give the enemy time to stop them from doing so. Or even then, if one person's doing it, an enemy gets there and lets them finish, then they also have the opportunity to use those to their advantage. A new unit, hovercraft with the ability to port jeeps, light tanks, and bikes over rivers, and then for the combat have like a light machine gun on there. New map element, how you have your cities, factories, radars, and everything, have bunkers. So have it to where somebody takes 2 turns to capture a bunker, and then those troops stay there, and then have it to where the bunker has a short range to where if any infantry come within that area, they're able to defend that land. So like, let's say within 3 spaces, they're able to shoot up to like the 3 spaces or 2 spaces rather than their 1 unit being outside of the bunker. The bunker can have a light machine gun. New units, medics. The ability to heal troops while they're out on the field. No combat, once again, and only have like 2 units per squad. New unit, snipers, which before Tiny Metal I made this list of like ideas, like I was looking at stuff, and they put snipers in Tiny Metal, and they were able to shoot up to 3 spaces like I wanted, and there were 2 in each unit, and they were very effective against ground troops. Like, I saw that, I was like, wow, like, me writing this down and seeing that, it's like, well, I can pretty much scrap that. But I think Advance Wars can do a similar thing. I mean, even if it's not 3 spaces, or just have it be 2 where they can shoot up to, but like 3 spaces makes sense. But the only problem with Tiny Metal is that they're able to shoot through mountains and hills, which I think is really unrealistic. So like, you can put that into effect in Advance Wars where they don't have the ability to shoot through mountains unless they're on top of a mountain, and like they're able, I mean, being able to shoot through a mountain while the enemy's on the other side seems kind of a little ridiculous. New unit, having a cruise ship with the ability to spot sea mines and being able to disable them. Now, sea mines would be deployed, have the ability to be deployed by a carrier or a sub, or even have a new unit that's able to dispatch mines in the sea. New ability for carriers is to hold up to 3 units instead of their regular 2. New map element. Weather changes every 5 to 6 days between light rain to heavy rain, or if there's snow, light snow to heavy snow, and that would affect aircraft and troops, how far they would be able to go. I mean, if you have heavy weather like rain and heavy blizzard hitting for like 2 or 3 moves, have it to where aircraft can't move, like they have to set down because it's too dangerous for them to be up. I mean, that would be a lot. And then my last thing that I came up with or had an idea for, a new ability, or if you pause, you're able to go in the menu, pick one of the enemies that are on the map if there's more than 2 players playing at the time, be able to negotiate terms to have them be as allies. So you could be like, oh, let's be an ally for the next 5 turns, and we can't attack each other. So like if you try and attack me, it won't allow you to attack me or take over my buildings. And I think that would be a good way to really have more strategy and working with other people. Now, you can also have it to where you can negotiate and be like, hey, let's just be allies the whole time. Like, I mean, the blue team already took over the green team. They own all of that. And if we keep fighting one another, there's no way we're going to be able to hold them off when they've got 15 more cities than us combined. Let's just work together and try and advance for at least the next 6-7 turns, and then if we need to, we can just be enemies again. And I think that would offer a lot of strategy and really propel somebody that has a really big advantage over the other teams and be like, hey, let's push them back. I mean, there's a greater threat at this point. Why are we fighting on 2 fronts? Let's just fight on one together and push them back. And that would offer a lot of incentive to work together rather than just screw it, let's just face free-for-all. That is pretty much it for my ideas for New Advance Wars. I mean, have your normal stuff like your campaign, single, and maybe even have a co-op campaign, which would be pretty cool. Your free play, I mean, maybe add a crap load of maps, maybe have like 300-400 maps, including older maps from older games. I mean, it's called the War Series. I mean, the Advance Wars, because it goes all the way back to Famicom Wars, which was like 89, I believe it was. And they also had a couple games on the Game Boy in Japan. So, like, you have all these maps to choose from, and then you can make, like, a new 50, 60 maps, and then just have all the other maps that were already designed. A new ability, so, like, how in Map Editor you can have it randomly generate a map. So, let there be, in the free play, have there be a section where it's randomly generated map. So like every time you go into it, it's randomly generated. You don't know what the terrain's gonna be like, and then you just play that. I mean, I find it being, when I play Advance Wars and I play it, and if I play all the maps, then you get a sense of an idea of how the maps are laid out and what cities you need to capture first and what you need to do. So like, if you keep playing that over and over, and then you play with a friend and it's like they haven't played before and you already played this map like 6-7 times, considering how many hours you may put into it, it's like, well, you have the advantage. But if a new person comes in and you pick a randomly generated map, it's like, wow, I've never played this before. And you play with a friend, I mean, it's kind of it's not even, because of course you played more, but like the terrain's even wise. I mean, even then when you're making your maps, sometimes people can make unfair maps. But you still have that map editor there. Of course, you can have up to 4 players in the free play or whatever. Have online and local play. Maybe add some kind of achievements like, oh, you played for 10 hours, or you killed this many troops, or you built this many troops. And then, I mean, you got the medals in Days of Ruin, so have those medals unlock like character skins and stuff. And so like you have more colors and you have a more unique displayed to your troops. Like, be able to be like, oh, instead of just being red, my team is pink and blue, and there's a color scheme for it. So when you're playing on the map, you're completely different from everyone else. You don't have your basic color like green, yellow, black, blue, whatever the skins are for when you play. depending on what game it is. No, I mean, it has been 10 years since Advance Wars Days of Ruin. It's going to be 10 years on January 21st, because it came out in 2008, and now it's 2018. So, I hope Nintendo, I know it'd be really rare for Nintendo to see something like this, but like, I think there is a fan base there still, and they could totally make a new Advance Wars, and I think it could do well on the Switch. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities from what I just said, I'm sure. I mean, if you guys have any ideas, if you guys have any ideas for Advance Wars, just leave a comment or what you think of my ideas if you want. Until next time, this is Jake from Nentalk, and we'll see you in a future video.